Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. Mm-hmm. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
But a lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. All right, welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Wednesday. Appreciate you being here. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button as we're here with you until 9 a.m. this morning. Daily, we're brought to you, as always, by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Our friends are over there in Laplace, Louisiana. They got new cars for you. Great selections out there on a new car lot. And then over here in Baton Rouge, that Go Express Auto Sales. Located on the corner of Florida Boulevard and Sherwood Forest. Daily, our phone line is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. In 1 hour from now, we will talk to LSU women's head basketball coach Kim Mulkey, who yesterday got an enormous commitment, literally, from one of the best bigs in the country, if not the best big in this recruiting cycle, Aaliyah Del Rosario out of, she's actually from the Dominican. She's in school right now, just out of Nashville. And yesterday she chose the 6'6", ranked number 7 in the class of 2023 by ESPN. Chose LSU over South Carolina and Tennessee. An enormous pickup for LSU women's basketball to go along with the recruiting class that is already being put together with Coach Mulkey and the LSU women's crew. We will talk to her about what's going on right now. Obviously, we can't talk to her about Aaliyah specifically, but she is absolutely celebrating the commitment yesterday from the 6'6" post player who both of her parents are professional players out of their native country. Of the Dominican. So a huge pickup for LSU women's basketball. They've already got Michaela Williams, who is the top perimeter player. Some services have her the number 1 player in next cycle. If she's not the first, she's definitely the second out of Shreveport to put her alongside Del Rosario. And Del Rosario's has a teammate in Angelica Velez, who is also an LSU commitment. She's a point guard and ranked the number 44 player in the country. So LSU right now is cleaning up on the recruiting trail. We mentioned that Michaela Williams and Angelica Velez to go along with yesterday's commitment of Del Rosario. They also have a wing in Janae Kent, who is a top 100 player committed to the 2023 class. It's a good time to be an LSU basketball fan right now, as Kim Mulkey feels like she will be knocking on the door of national championships here in a short time. What a year one, now going into year 2. This roster is really good and looks competitive, and now the future rosters look like that they are going to be championship level competitive after yesterday's commitment of the 5-star Miss Basketball out of the state of Tennessee, Aaliyah Del Rosario, 6'6" post player. If you've seen some of her highlights, she is hell to guard offensively and really tough to get around. and you look up and you're in a situation where you were last Saturday night where you're down 17-0 and your offense is showing no signs of life.
We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Their weekly pre-order, freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at Go Flow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at Go Flow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
It's not recognizing any of the cameras.
Job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody, and that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Oh, look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
What do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is, my guy. David Brewerton checking in.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, live here on this Wednesday. Make sure to hit that like button, share button, comment button. Remember, we're taking your voicemails and your mailbag questions, just like we do every Wednesday here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Off week, so we'll talk a little LSU, obviously, as going into Bama week is a little past the halfway point routinely every season. But you can also look back and kind of give an evaluation of where they are up to this point during the bye, right? And just to reset the show, we'll talk to Brody Miller coming up here at 8:30 this morning. We'll talk to Kim Mulkey, who had an enormous day yesterday as Aaliyah Del Rosario, the top post player in this recruiting cycle, committed to LSU over Tennessee and South Carolina. That goes along with Michaela Williams, who is already committed to LSU. She's the top perimeter player out of Shreveport and one of the, if not the best player in the country. She's a top 3 player in the country. But Brian Kelly's press conference yesterday, I thought that really kind of opened the door up on, some of the self-scouting that they're probably doing this week for us, dive into some of those discussions. I don't know, Lloyd, can we go to some of this here? This is Brian Kelly just on the schedule of the upcoming bye week.
These weeks where we don't play on Saturdays, really just get out on the field. Today it's, as a coach, you love them because you get to go over all of the mistakes that you made in the passing game, the running game, clean those things up, which we got a chance to do that. Fundamentals, we got a lot of individual today. And then we got to scrimmage the young guys, that haven't played. So, as a coach, these are as good as they get. Because you don't have a game on the other end of it. So good day today, and we'll do similar tomorrow. And then Thursday we'll weight train, and then we'll give them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. So they'll get 3 days off. And when I say off, it's really active recovery. So it's a mental and physical reset, but we have them doing things because you can't take 3 days off. I mean, there's no all of a sudden I'm just going to lay around and not do anything for 3 days. So it's just a reset mentally and physically. And a lot of our guys are local, so the training room will be open. The ability to come in here, get treatment. Some of the guys will have light workouts too. So that's kind of what the week looks like in a nutshell. And then it affords us the opportunity to use Monday, kind of as a bonus day as well. So that's kind of what's going on this week.
There's Brian Kelly talking about how he's going to use the bye week, as obviously the facility will be staying open to anybody who needs treatment. People will be getting in and out of there. The coaches are going to hit the ground running and recruiting. I'll let you hear a soundbite on that coming up here shortly. I thought this was the best answer of the press conference coming up. It's an insight into the organization and to the communication that Brian Kelly has brought in to LSU's football program immediately. When we were first reacting to Kelly on the job, back in January, when he was kind of making the rounds in the press and you were starting to see some of the things that were being implemented since he had been introduced, I think in early January or December, that, to me, the best part about Brian Kelly early on was his communication. It seemed like that, through his communication through the press and what we were hearing kind of behind the scenes was that he was very direct. and he was allowing, people to the opportunity to either jump aboard or not keep up. And he was doing that through very clear communication. And I think that this next answer of defensive in-game adjustments is a clear example of just the organization, everybody understanding their responsibility and just how clear the communication seems to be on all channels when you're talking about Brian Kelly. Here he is yesterday talking about in-game defensive adjustments.
We'll meet. I'll meet with Matt and the defensive staff. We'll talk about some things as he comes down. Remember now, he's about 2 minutes behind everybody because he's got to come out of the press box. So we'll have everybody together in the locker room, share some ideas, and then when Matt comes in, he's already kind of formulated some thoughts. We'll discuss those thoughts, and you got to imagine we don't have much time then to get with the team because I want to get them out of the locker room at about the 6-minute mark. Get them up, talk to them, get them in the tunnel, and get them on the field by 4. So all that needs to be done in a matter of minutes. We had some substantial adjustments that needed to be made. Sometimes you don't have quite as many. We had to do some things in coverage. They were hurting us, with some switch verticals. And Matt already had formulated in his mind as he was coming down from the box some things. He throws them off me. We have a conversation and he goes to work on it. So we're set up in pods in the locker room. So each position group's in pods. We've got whiteboards there. He gets on the whiteboard, puts up the adjustments. We go to work, and the guys digest it and did a really good job, and we go out and try to execute it.
There's a lot in that soundbite to take away. When you listen to that entire soundbite, the overriding theme of it is the adjustments made within halftime. But if you listen to the soundbite completely, you hear the organization that's already set up within the structure of the halftime, how you've got everybody kind of isolated in their own position groups with whiteboards and coaches there that are coaching those positions up. And look, I'm not thinking that this isn't happening in a lot of colleges and a lot of high schools and a lot of professional locker rooms around the country. I don't know if it was happening as intently at LSU over the past, 15 years as it sounds like it is very much attention to detail and intently happening now. And I think the way that Kelly describes it and communicates it to the press is very easy because this is the way that they function now. This is the way that LSU is set up. This is how LSU is approaching in-game adjustments. Very clear communication. They want to be out on the field and start moving around the 6-minute mark of halftime. Then we be on the field at the 4-minute mark, so they're getting adjusted and getting their legs back underneath them for a second half of football. And even the communication of Matt House being a little late from the press box coming down and what it's like to communicate his ideas to Brian Kelly, the staff, and then go implement them. I just thought it was a very clear, concise, organized answer that gave you really what LSU gets in having Brian Kelly as the coach. Because if one thing we can look at here during the bye week is all of what Brian Kelly is doing, implementing, his style of coaching, what they're coaching up, what they're teaching is obviously working. They are very much improving from the start of the season. If you're looking at each week and where they are from, back in the last weekend of August when the season kicked off to where they are now going into the bye week, they have made a marketable improvement each week. And, I think we've all agreed and talked about and, chatted inside of the chat and through our voicemails and phone calls. I mean, everybody's looking for LSU to improve week in, week out, and that has definitely been something that they have accomplished in year one under Kelly. And I thought that answer really kind of signified just how organized, clear it seems to be for LSU right now. Here's more from Kelly yesterday, talking about the types of quarterbacks that they've had to defend up to this point. And, all of them have been really sharp tests, right? From Will Rogers to Hendon Hooker to, even last Saturday as they were facing Jackson Dart.
Richardson.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson. Travis in the opener for Florida State was a problem in that matchup. And now here comes the best quarterback in football, in college football, in Bryce Young. So here's Kelly yesterday talking about some of the tests that LSU has taken on quarterbacks up to this point, and the one that they're preparing for next Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, they've all been so difficult to defend, and this will be the most difficult. And I think what's most difficult with him is improvising, his ability to improvise. And as he improvises, he's making plays. Like, he's getting the ball out to skilled players. So an enormous, I think, challenge for our defense to contain him in some fashion. And maybe you even, have to look at, how do you slow him down a little bit, because he just is that good of a player.
Asking inside of the chat about a Caskey's Clicker edition on Alabama, and absolutely there will be one isolated towards Bama. I'm not sure on when that feature will be, whether it'll be here in the bye or early next week for game week, but at some point we will have that for you, and as soon as we know the time and the details, we'll pass it along. But there absolutely will be a Caskey's Clicker dedicated to Bryce Young, Alabama, in this matchup on both sides of the ball for LSU versus Alabama, both offensively and defensively. Here is Kelly talking, this is 8, Lloyd, of him talking about year one and just where they are in the process of, some of the mile markers that he was hoping to achieve and what he thinks up to this point where the program sits.
Oh, there's a lot of work to be done there. Recruiting for us has just started. Like, this freshman class is the first class that we have gotten in the doors here, and we only had a few months to recruit it. So, our first true freshman class is coming up, and so, building your program is through recruiting as well. We're establishing habits, we're establishing a standard, we're establishing those things, but that takes time, and we're making great progress. These kids have done everything we've asked them to do, but we're still, obviously building this thing, and it's still going to take a while before we get to that point where, everybody is feeling like we have gotten the program to where it needs to be.
Kelly talking a little bit about the evolution of his offense, what they're feeling comfortable in their style and what they're running right now. Here he is talking about where they are and some of the adjustments they've made. My bad. So Kelly yesterday was talking about the offense, Jaden Daniels, and the tempo attack and how they are feeling comfortable within the tempo and being able to run the offense more comfortably in that style, and how, over the last couple of weeks, they've really tried to find what suits Daniels best and, run the offense to his strength is really the gist of what he's talking about, and where it may not be always just tempo that they're trying to find and trying to get him out there and run, because that's what at one point he seemed like he was most comfortable out. Now, as the offense evolves and, you can use more of the playbook, Kelly and Daniels have really worked together there. All right, so let's we don't have that soundbite. Let's talk about LSU defensively, how they have allowed early scores and how they can adjust to that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those conversations we had in coordinators meeting. We went back and we went through the film again and again, and we did this as an exercise yesterday. We looked at all of those slow starts, and most of them are not physical, they're mental. We felt like physically, we were really ready to go. I think, we just have to get our guys locked in mentally early on, and it just seems like they play better as they get into the game, but we just have to get over that in some fashion. It's not the bus, it's not the food, it's not the bed they sleep in. It's just that they have to come at it with a different mindset, because it's really a lot of mental errors. It's not physical errors.
So LSU slow start, always playing from behind, right? It seems like they're always trying to play catch up in each of these games, and they're very impressive in the second half, very much more impressive in the fourth quarter with some of the numbers. We'll talk to Brody Miller about their second half performances and just how successful they have been in outscoring their opponents in the second half, and just how dominant LSU is. Coming up with him at 8:30 this morning. But here was Kelly yesterday talking about this week and the goals in recruiting.
We'll send out Coach Polian after practice today. He'll be the first one out. So we did all of our special teams today. So that allows him to get out, get the first run out, because we're sending him, a little further out. And then tomorrow after practice, the staff is all out on the road. So we'll get everybody else out on the road. And so that gets us Wednesday, Thursday, and I want to get the staff heading back after Wednesday morning, where they touch base with a recruit Wednesday morning in an evaluation sense, so they can be back here for Friday night, so they can be with their families Friday and Saturday. What we're trying to accomplish essentially is get with our committed players as much as we can, and then our top 24. So this is a combination of 23s and 24s.
The Recruiting Power Hour coming up today with Shea Dixon. Remember, stick around here on the Jordy Culotta Show YouTube channel for any questions that you may have specifically for recruiting. On 3 recruiting analysts, Shea Dixon is the best as he's breaking it down. And hopefully everybody has seen up to this point Dawn of a Legacy, which is a dive into Ricky Collins and Eli Holstein. Shea is featured on Dawn of a Legacy a lot, brought to you by Bank of Zachary and Lane Memorial Hospital out there in Zachary, Louisiana. But if you have not, you can check it out. It's on the YouTube channel. And like I said, a little behind the scenes of the Woodlawn Zachary build up to the ESPN game, and some storylines in learning more about Ricky Collins and Eli Holstein, the signal callers for both high schools respectively. And Shea gives really good recruiting insight in that documentary. So he'll be here today following today's show. If you have specific recruiting questions, remember you can always jump in. If you have any questions for us, jump inside of the chat, or you can always call, leave a voicemail. Phone number is easy, 225-229-7741, 225-229-7741 is the number coming up here. Let's go to some of your comments here. Mark Cumby, send Brian Polian to Alaska. Rob Boudreaux, it's a good idea to get him out of the state. Stephen Miller, all I know is BK is going to get the last laugh on all these fools that clowned him during the time of December through March. Some talk about Will Anderson and the matchup for Anderson. I kind of agree with Mark Cumby, who types inside of the chat. Will Anderson did a lot of his work early on. He's now just cruising to the NFL draft. I think he solidified his top 3 pick in the draft. I think he'll do more of that in some of the big games. I expect him to have, and always will have to account for him will LSU when you get to the line of scrimmage, especially when you're dealing with a couple of youngsters like Emory Jones and Will Campbell on the outside of that offensive line. But I agree. Look, Will Anderson has had a lot more dominant football before this season that speaks for itself. And right now, you have not heard his name. And, the thing that stood out to me, I thought, earlier this season was some of the mental errors that he was making. He had some personal fouls in the Texas game that I thought were very costly, which is very rare to see from a player of his, of his capability and just how good he is. Whoa. Hey.
Whoa. Hey.
Hey. After hours.
Numbers are up, yeah.
Right. Easy. So get your voicemail questions in, get your comments in. As always, we appreciate you being here with us on this Wednesday. The Carpool Queen will be here. Remember, we're going to talk to Kim Mulkey coming up here at 8 o'clock this morning, and we will talk to Brody Miller at 8:30 this morning, as Brody will be talking and getting us back to and just giving us his insight on LSU football. But here, going into the bye or during the bye, as Coach Kelly just kind of pointed out, what the schedule is for LSU and kind of what the goals this week is, both on the field and in recruiting. When you look back at LSU up to this point, it's hard not to be really excited about all of the things that you have seen, right? Whether it has been the improvement of the young players, the improvement of the quarterback, the adjustments that they make in game defensively. And when you go back to the first week of the season and you go back to the Florida State game, the things that haunted this program seem to be improving, right? Most notably the special teams woes. Now it's taken them a while really to kick that reputation or that feeling around that unit, but it feels as if they are improving. I mean, now in week one they couldn't block an extra point, so they had a long way to go, right? They were starting at nearly the bottom, the basic level of special teams. And while they still make some mistakes, they were offsides on the opening kickoff of the game last Saturday versus Ole Miss. That's something that you'd love to have back. But they're blocking field goals, they're catching punts, they're covering kicks. One thing that's been pretty relieving to see, at least from a special team standpoint, is that they finally have told the place kicker or have told the kickoff guy in Dilbert to kick it out of the back of the end zone. Just kick it. I mean, can you get it there? Yeah. Okay. Well, then just put it there, and don't give them an opportunity to bring it out. Forget the corner sky kick stuff. I mean, I thought Tennessee executed that pretty well. That's what it looks like when it's effective. If you can't execute it and you got a guy that can punch it out of the back of the end zone every single time, that would be, to me, the best, the best philosophy of just, look, don't give them a chance.
I mean, would you say the same thing for even the return game at this point? Just fair catch it, get it on the 25. We don't really have to – let's not do the whole song and dance of what could happen if we don't, because it doesn't feel like you get a lot of return. There's not a lot of yak after you're able to catch the kickoff for a punt. Just let's – on everywhere.
Secure it, man. And especially when the offense is playing like they like they are now, with the confidence they are. I mean, think about the special teams philosophy in 2019. Don't screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take away a possession from the offense. Always let Burrow cook, right? And I'm not saying that Daniels is on Burrow's level, but the offense is clicking at a level where you don't want to take any possessions away from them, right? Because they feel like if they have it, they're only going to give it back to you to kick it off to you after they score. I mean, that's the confidence that not only the quarterback's playing with, but, I mean, even going back to the self-scouting stuff. I mean, thinking back to week one, the feeling around Kayshawn, of just how much he's matured and grown up, and you've seen that wide receiver group really develop. And, the guys that were, kind of considered the other parts after Kayshawn have really stepped up, right? Jeray Jenkins, Brian Thomas has made plays. Malik Neighbors has been very consistent, dating back to that Florida State game when he had just a treacherous night from a special team standpoint, dropping and fumbling 2 punts. Ultimately didn't cost him points, but, mentally that will wear on you. And even in the fourth quarter of that game, after he had dropped one, he was still catching the football. I mean, I think that the wide receivers, for as much as we talk that group up as being one of the best groups, if not the best position group on the team in the summertime, a couple of weeks into the season, you were like, where are these guys? Why aren't they using these athletes that can change the game and change the scoreboard? They have committed to that, and without question, the wide receiver group is their most talented, deepest, and most skilled position, and they've all had some input. They've all developed. They've all gotten better. They've all continued to make plays and improve. So, from the feeling around Kayshawn and his leadership, and even to him being a part of the game, I'd imagine that here over the next couple of weeks, the last month of the season, it feels like Kayshawn's really going to be and have a presence on the offensive game plan each week. And not to say that he hasn't been a part of the game plan, they haven't been able to get him going. It feels like he's very engaged in the game. I mean, if you go back and watch some of last week, I mean, Kayshawn he's blocking his ass off. He is down the field working defensive backs when the ball does not come to him or it's no opportunity to come his way. He is bought in. I mean, I know the locker room at Florida looked great for his leadership, but just watch him play right now. I mean, I thought he took a shot in the back last week from an Ole Miss linebacker that when he was standing in the middle of the field and kind of vulnerable, somebody just kind of teed off on him, and you could tell that he was kind of woozy or shaken or a little banged up in the moment. Shook it off, got back on the field and playing hard. I mean, that's all you can really ask from your superstar.
I don't think you can question his effort. There might be some things that happened after maybe he doesn't get the ball or maybe he drops a pass like you see it in the engine where it's not. I don't think that's him checked out. I think that's him upset. You can show it in different ways, but whatever you see him, whether it be between whenever the ball is snapped and the ball is in the air, he's giving you everything he has. There's no doubt. You can see him. Even when it's plays where he's open and he has to block for Jaden Daniels downfield, he's looking and trying to find work. So I think the Kayshawn thing, I think you can kind of throw that out the window. I think there's no, is he going to leave the team early, any of that nonsense that you thought might have been out there. He's checked in and bought in. There's nothing more evident than what he's doing on the field when the whistle blows.
Yeah, no, I mean, just watch him play. I think that's all you can ask. And I think because of that, I think that there is a residual effect to the players around him buying in and making their own plays. There is a feeling, especially on team, when you see the best or, the one who is known the most and has had the most success bought in to the level that Kayshawn is, it allows and almost, it makes it easier for the younger guys and the other parts at wide receiver to really, be as bought in as everybody seems. I just think that there is a effect to your best player being as bought in as Kayshawn is right now, and it's helping the whole organization and program function. And I'd imagine that he will have a huge impact on the field over the last month of the season, much more of an impact that he's had over the first month and a half of LSU's run.
I think it's bearing out in the kind of in the stats. Just you can see that the offense has changed a little bit, where that's probably a reason for them to have a little bit more pep in their step, because now they feel like there's a chance for them to get the ball. But when you look at what happened, start off with Florida State, 2 catches for 20 yards, Southern 5 for 42, Mississippi State 3 for 31, Auburn 1 for 4, Tennessee 6 for 33, finally gets in the end zone, Florida 6 for 115, Ole Miss 4 for 43. So you're starting to see at least the targets and catches go up a little bit. And if there's ever a time for it to kind of, let's see this thing take part 2, I think you might see it next weekend for Alabama because you have to have him.
No doubt. And I think that, down the stretch, he's gonna be somebody that's born. And you're even starting to see, some of the guys that we didn't see early in the year stepping in and really making impacts. Kyron Lacey seems to be making the most of his opportunities when he's out there. He's made some big plays over the past couple of weeks. So, this wide receiver group, for as good as we thought they were, and, I thought that they were behind the defensive line, the second best position group on the field. They have, really over the last couple of weeks come on to show off just how talented, skilled, and deep they are. And without question, going into Bama, they're the best group on the team. They're the most skilled group that you have out there. More on the offense, I think the offensive line, from a standpoint of, I think the first and foremost, the biggest takeaway from the offensive line after last week is that you're going into what would be your third straight game with the same unit. And for this LSU offense, that's a big deal. Early on, you just couldn't find a combination that would stick. They couldn't keep the guys healthy. They couldn't keep people out there. Things, kind of freakishly were happening, like, what happened with Will Campbell the Friday night before Tennessee game. They couldn't catch a rhythm. They couldn't catch the stability and consistent lineups that they needed to start building chemistry. Now you're going into, and hopefully everything, stays clean before
status quo.
Yeah, next Saturday. But you'll be taking your same 5 into the third straight game. And while it doesn't seem like that number is a lot, and it's not when you're talking about an offensive line playing together, it's still really early. But for what LSU has been dealing with, that's a huge story. And to have that chemistry starting to really be built, I think means something going into this game. So the offensive line, barring and dealing with all of the inconsistent combinations that have been out there each and every week, I think that they've really played well for having 2 freshman tackles to having a revolving door on the interior that, they couldn't find who they were going to stick with, who they were going to plug in, who they were going to, find that could stick there and play. To Charles Turner at the center spot. I think that they've played some guys when they've needed to. Do you want them to be better? Yeah. Obviously you do, but they're dealing with some circumstances that you have to go through, that you can't overcome, being young on the outside and having 2 freshman tackles. And by the way, that hasn't cost you because of their classification. They are freshmen, but they play much more veteran than first-year players. They grade out consistently as 2 of the top tackles in the league week in, week out. But they're still freshmen. And Will Anderson's still coming to eat a week from Saturday. So, they've got some huge tests still on the horizon. But all in all, with all the adversity and all the change and turnover the LSU offensive line has dealt with, man, I think that even that group who we were very much worried about going into the season gives you really positive vibes. Going and here in the bye week. The running back spot has, another shining example of what I believe is a great example of the coaching that is happening over at LSU. Frank Wilson, obviously one of the best in the country, if not the best in recruiting. But, one thing that is lost when talking about Wilson is how good of an on-the-field coach he is. He's coached a lot of great ones that have come through LSU, and a lot of guys that nobody believed was going to be NFL players ended up spending a lot of time in the league, and coaches and coordinators, even a guy like Caskey can tell you that running backs at LSU have always come out and been really impressive in the way that they've just been able to talk football, draw it on the whiteboard, understand it, and see it. And you can see the development that is happening with a guy like Josh Williams that's happening under the coaching of Frank Wilson, Mike Denbrock, and Brian Kelly with the way that position, while you would walk into it right in the middle of the summer, you would walk into it early in the year, and you would say, man, where's RBU? Where's the talent at LSU at the running back spot when, you got some guys that are unproven, you've got some guys that don't have a lot of, playing time, you got some guys that are transferred in, you've got new faces, who's the dude? Who's it going to be? And for Josh Williams to emerge like he has over the past couple of weeks, and the confidence that he's here in the bye week, taking in to next week's matchup at home versus Alabama, I think is another great example of just what's happening over there and the steady improvement that we are seeing week in, week out. Do you want the talent to be better in the running back room? Yes, and it will be because of Jackson and Holly coming in this recruiting class alone. But you also have some chances to develop the guys that are there, and I think that Josh Williams has just been an incredible breath of fresh air to see the way that he's really taken that running back opportunity and made the most of it. But, you can see the theme here as we talk about the groups, wide receivers, offensive line, running back, everybody trending in the right direction. Everything seems like it's heading in the right direction.
Any update on John Emery as to this point? I didn't even see what happened. I still haven't seen it. I think it was
replay. That something happened in practice that he tweaked and kind of.
Was it a walkthrough on Saturday?
It happened actually on the opening kickoff of the game, I was told. But and hopefully this bye week can give Emery some time to get rested. And then, the obvious spot on offense is quarterback, and Jaden Daniels is, he's getting national awards for his play last week. He's the SEC Offensive Player of the Week. He's got 11 touchdowns in the past 2 weeks. He's got a bunch of yards. He's playing that position as good as anybody right now, and gives defensive coordinators up to this point really some head scratching philosophy on what your scheme on how you're going to stop him, just because he presents a lot of problems, both in the passing, running, and the way that he sees the game right now. He is seeing it. It'd be interesting to see what Pete Golding and Nick Saban have cooked up for Jaden Daniels, but I don't think you can say enough good things about the way that Daniels has developed, the way that he has had, really improved, and how he's playing right now, man. He's playing at as high of a level of quarterback play that's exists in college football right now. I know Bryce Young is the best, and I know that he's the measuring stick, and I know that that's the one that everybody looks at. But I think that Jaden Daniels is playing right there over the last 2 weeks now, not consistently all season long, but right now, presently. He's got the air and the confidence to him that he's playing as good as anybody in the country.
What do you think led to the flip, like the switch being flipped, or the flip to be, or the switch? Yeah. What do you think led to, because of what was? He was inconsistent early on, but he wasn't playing terribly. It was just a different style than what fans are used to, or what you've seen at LSU. Still was able to get wins, but it didn't look the last 2 weeks have. Have you noticed any marked difference in what it'd be play calling scheme? Just something that it's you could always see that this was a possibility, because whenever you were scouting other teams that LSU was going to play, it's why don't they do it that Jaden can do that?
Well, I think that it was a lot of coaching pounding into his head, throw it. It was a lot of, film watching and breaking down and showing him examples of, look, here's an opportunity where if you just let it go, good things will probably happen for you, your confidence, and for the offense. And it took him a minute, I think, to be able to get to that point mentally. I think that there was still a shock value to the athletes in the SEC that he was looking at week in, week out. I think that, he had to get adjusted to how he was going to protect his body running around out there, even on design runs. And I think that the little part of the offense, to me, that really changed the way that LSU functions is the check down, is having the threat of when he doesn't like what he sees and pulling it down rather than tucking it, finding Williams, Emery, Mason Taylor somewhere right there around the line of scrimmage in the flat that you pick up 8, 10, 12, 16 yards, and now you've got the defense on their heels. You know, you're not as committed at the linebacker spot to run up on Daniels and try to take him down as a runner if you have that threat in the flat to drop it off and pick up a big play. I think that from watching LSU the last 2 weeks, that's different. It looks different.
Yeah, because what BK said, or what I guess the better way to put it is what we thought worked
Katie,
early was the tempo. Everybody was screaming for LSU to go fast, go fast, go fast is what makes Jaden Daniels comfortable. They've gone slower than they ever have the past 2 weeks, and I think it breaks down to more of I understand what I'm looking at now, and I understand what you want from me.
Yeah, he's comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he gets, like you said, I mean, he gets what he's looking at. I thought that there was definitely a point in period throughout the season where he was just like, screw it, I'm not looking at this stuff. This is moving way too fast. These guys on the edge are way too big, strong, and quick. And, you know, I mean, this doesn't feel like the Pac-12.
Yeah, it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
You know? So it just there's no better example to me than Jaden Daniels of his improvement. So that's kind of our feeling on the offense. We'll talk more of the defense coming up in the second half. Carpool Queen is here, back from the blender.
It was such
last
a good game.
night
Such
as
a fun game.
The Pelicans without Zion,
without
Brandon Ingram,
without Herb,
and no Herb in the building.
3 of their 5
I'm sure there was some herb in the building.
Yeah, hopefully.
There was. As soon as I walked out, people were lighting up right in front of me. I gotta love
Yes,
New Orleans
is very, very liberal on the marijuana
care.
now. I was in the quarter last weekend, and I mean, people are smoking them like cigarettes.
That's what they were doing outside.
I mean,
outside
they
the
smoke
Smoothie
joints
King
like
Center.
cigarettes
yeah.
now.
I mean, there's cops standing around everywhere.
I'm with it.
When you
It's all
come
good.
out.
I love it.
I mean, there's a lot more intense stuff happening in both Baton Rouge
you
and New
think?
Orleans. Are worried about people smoking
That's
a
the
little,
least
you know,
of
a
their
little.
problems.
It's like Gotham.
It is like that. It is like
Here.
that.
You can do that.
Actually, you smoked this.
Yes.
The
So
game
what was it like
great.
last night?
The game was great. Not that many people there, I guess, because they knew they were missing 3 of their 5 starters. So not too full. A lot of people showed up after the half, which was kind of weird. But it was a great atmosphere. Trey Murphy, like unfreaking believable. The rookie guy, Dyson Daniels, was unbelievable. I mean, they really played a game. And Luka
It's a beast.
And he's freaking hilarious. Like, he talks shit all the time, which is funny. But, like, he would make a play and then just that grin that he has on his face. Like,
He's got a great personality.
He really does. But it was really fun to watch him. I mean, people booed him, like, constantly.
Oh, no
which
better
was fine.
respect.
Yeah, but he's
of
really
respect.
fun to watch. So it was really fun. It was a good time. Great game. Right down to the buzzer.
Trey Murphy last night, 8 of 8.
Amazing.
4 for 4 from
22
3.
points, I think he scored. He was
I
unbelievable.
mean, the dunk. I didn't know he had it
love
in
that
him.
Dunk. We were all on our feet with that dunk. I mean, it was.
I didn't know he had that in him.
I don't know. No one did. I don't think it was great.
Oh yeah, that's not his role. He sits on the
he's a shooter.
perimeter, right? But now when you're missing Brandon Ingram, you're missing Zion. There's more on the list. Now who else was out? Herb. Like those are 3. Those are 3 starters.
Yeah.
And
those
so
are
Trey,
3 of their 5 starters. It
Trey,
was insane.
Right, Trey, go do whatever you want. Go play basketball.
Yeah.
Go play like you're a star. Because we don't have anybody else out here, so that's what leads to like dunks and going 8 for 8 and 4 for 4 from 3. Like that's what he's there for to do. He's a shooter.
Yeah.
But once you get opportunities to go put one on somebody's head, they're gonna take it.
CJ McCollum didn't play as well.
No, he
as
didn't
I
shoot
thought.
the ball very
Yeah,
well.
it was
like
weird.
he was like 3 of 12 from the
I don't
field.
want to be the CJ McCollum guy.
But you know what?
I think he's important to the team, but I know
No, he is.
I think he's aging rapidly.
He is.
Yeah.
He
it
is.
was
He's
kinda
great for the
evident.
locker room, though.
Well,
And
need a point guard.
but I mean, you got to have his. I think you need his veteran leadership in that
Absolutely.
room with as many youngsters as you have. He's a guy that can fit in and also brings the respect that those young guys look up to.
He's a little doughy.
Yeah, he's
little
got
what?
a little bit of.
He's got a little pudge to him.
He's got a little bit of Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry, or like a if you got like discount Chris Paul, that's what he looks like in his uniform, which is kind of like.
I get that. He really.
Yeah,
does
he's a
look
little
like
rec
that.
league-ish.
Yeah.
The person I was with was betting on him, and I mean that he would
Oh,
score
wow.
a lot more points than he
Jeez.
did.
Live
So,
betting him?
Lost that bet.
I mean, who would bet on a Tuesday night at the blender? That sounds like degenerate behavior. I would never.
Yeah. Who's going to win the tip?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to be back with Kim Mulkey as she's cleaning up right now. Another 5-star. As yesterday, the top post player in the country, Aaliyah Del Rosario, out of she's originally from the Dominican and is over in school right now, just out of Nashville. And one of the finalists is Tennessee. I mean, that's a pretty sweet win right there for LSU. As yesterday,
You think that happens 2 years ago?
No chance. LSU's not even in the hunt. I mean, LSU's not even in the hunt for this. Del Rosario, that yesterday, a very emphatic, like just unzipping the warm up, throwing the L's up with the old school LSU logo. She's got a commitment. She's got a committed teammate as well on her high school team. So everybody was kind of jumping around. It was a great scene for LSU. I mean, if you were just kind of watching that, as a neutral party, you were thinking, I mean, is this happening in Louisiana? And in fact, it was happening in Tennessee. As yesterday, huge news for LSU women's basketball. We will talk to Kim Mulkey next here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. Katie, tell them about Dead Soxy before we get out of here.
Dead Soxy. Use the code Jordy at deadsoxy.com and get up to 30% off your order. Purple and gold socks for game day. You still have plenty of game days left. And put in your corporate orders for corporate Christmas gifts. They'll help you design everything. They do all the work. You can use our code, get a discount, deadsoxy.com.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com. We love the crew over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. Chef Shane and his crew dropping off the meals every Monday here to FM Digital Media, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner. Me or the crew's going through our meals over at Fresh Chef Kitchen. their weekly pre-order freshly made meals, or you can walk into the cooler over there on Airline Highway. They have that fresh, same service over there at Fresh Chef Eats. FreshChefEats.com is where you can find them online. Fresh Chef Kitchen. Tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
We had these sweatpants. I wish I still had them. Now, they don't fit the style now because they're like the baggier, but like they're gray. You remember the gray ones? Like the football had them. They were fire. Like the best sweatpants I've ever had, and then I lost them. But
I don't think you lost them.
You think someone stole them?
Yeah.
I mean, did you sneak into my house and steal my
No,
sweatpants?
no, that's not what I'm saying. I figured
You're not picking up what he's putting
yeah,
down. Just
you're
go
not
ahead and
picking
keep
up,
going.
yeah.
That's the one thing that's not leaving the apartment. I mean, there's not, those don't fit.
I'd say watch yourself. Watch out. They're out for you.
He tried to let you go. You kept prodding with this.
Those don't fit.
Doesn't matter.
They're not wearing that.
There's a drawstring.
Yeah, they're gonna cut them up.
They're not wearing that.
Bro, they were stealing
You're
fraternity.
right. Hey, now listen, I've lost some mini Lululemon shirts. I regret that. I've lost.
What is going on?
I've lost many a fraternity shirt.
I've lost some LSU
What is this,
gear.
the red light special right now?
I've lost some LSU gear that I wish I could get back. I ain't getting it back.
We're just trying to warn you about that gear. You only get it for the year.
I don't know what y'all are talking about. I'm talking about my friends coming into my apartment and using my clothes. I don't know what y'all are talking about, but that's all I'm talking about.
Oh, God.
Liar! I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys would come in, stay in my apartment.
Oh, God.
I don't know what y'all are saying. I mean, this is a children's show, boys. What y'all talking about here?
Hey. Hey. Oh, my God.
What's so funny?
Say Lafayette made that way better.
Oh, God.
Lloyd can't even get up.
That might be an all-time show moment.
Okay.
I'm just going to be honest with you.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Lafayette wants your LSU gear.
I told you, we don't take this.
And they're guys.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody, and that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Oh, look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
What do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Exciting times down here in Baton Rouge as LSU football in the bye week, getting prepared for Bama. We talked to Coach Matt McMahon yesterday, getting prepared for LSU basketball, which is officially 2 weeks from today. They will tip off, but everybody in town is buzzing right now about LSU women's basketball as the Lady Tigers are gearing up to tip off their season. Coming up here versus Mississippi College on Thursday, October 27th. They tip off tomorrow against Mississippi College. And what's better just before the tip-off of the season than another 5-star for Coach Mulkey and the crew? As we told you early on in hour number 1, they were able to go into Tennessee
and grab a 5-star post player, the number 1 post player in the country, in Aaliyah Del Rosario, who unzipped the jacket yesterday, had the LSU logo on. Her teammate was there celebrating with her, Angelica Velez, who's the point guard on that squad. She's a top 50 player. They've got Janae Kent committed to the class, who's a top 100 player. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they've got the number 1 player in the country in Michaela Williams out of Bossier, out of North Louisiana, committed to LSU. So Coach Mulkey and the crew not only doing work in season, they are cleaning up out of season. As there you see Del Rosario flashing the LSU logo yesterday on the campus of her high school. Coach Mulkey obviously cannot talk specifically about individual players, but we can celebrate the time right now as basketball season tips off with great news for the program. Good morning, Queen. How are you?
Queen, huh? Good morning, guys. How are y'all? I've never been called Queen. Now, I've been called a lot of things, you know. I think I've said it here recently. There's not any more adjectives. Everything everybody calls me, okay, shake your head, ignore, move on, and live your life. But we're excited, Jordy. We tip off tomorrow, not the regular season, but the first 2 are exhibitions, and they're open to the public. You don't have to pay a dime to come see us, and get out there, have some fun. And it is football season, but we don't have a game this weekend. And how about football? I want all those naysayers to just have to admit, hey, we're competing. We don't look good. We win games. Guys, we've only lost 1 game in the SEC against a more talented team. How about kudos to those guys?
I'm telling you, Coach, not that you need it, but how do you use an LSU football game day to help you in recruiting, show off the atmosphere and what you ladies are doing?
Well, first of all, I have got to acquaint myself with what's going on. Sometimes I stand there and go, what in the hell did I just see? It's unbelievable. It's like a festival. And you got to remember, I grew up here, but guys, I didn't come over here.
That's right.
When I grew up in Hammond. I heard about it, but if folks haven't seen the tailgating that takes place starting really Thursday when those tents start going up, and then to go all over campus, you can't even see it all. And yes, we use that, but mostly we show them what we've got in women's basketball, and we let them watch practices and scrimmages, and then we head out to tailgating and to football and let them see what the whole atmosphere of LSU is like.
SEC Media Day looked really cool for you. It feels like, I mean, obviously around here locally, everybody recognizes you as the LSU women's coach. I think nationally it took people a while to kind of see you with the logo on and recognize you as the head coach of the program, but it feels like being back over there representing the school that everybody kind of feels that. You looked very comfortable in that role with your players. What was that experience like?
Well, I'm comfortable in whatever role I'm in as a head coach, and I've been very fortunate. I haven't had to live out of a suitcase. In our profession, a lot of coaches have to live out of suitcases. Either they resign or they get fired. Fortunately for me, the few places I have been, Louisiana Tech, Baylor, and LSU, I chose to be at those places. So coaching is coaching, and I'm as loyal as they get. I fight for my institution. I fight for the people that I represent. I fight for my players, and make them do right and represent their university in a great way, and just try to win a few games along the way.
I also talked to your contractor. You will fight him too if he tells you no on anything that's going in that office.
Well, look! I saw where my boss just got an extension. I need to go knock on his door and say, "Hey, big guy, why'd you get that extension? Was it because of these coaches you bringing in here? Hey, how about us? We need some extension and pay raise too now."
Oh, look at her! Yes, indeed.
No, I'm cutting up this morning. They take good care of me. Scott's a jewel to work for, and it's a fun time right now.
It is. It's a fun time to be a fan. It's a fun time to be covering the athletic program. You can feel the buzz and the energy that all of the coaches are putting out right now. And what has this part been like for you? You're building a team, right? You're in the preparation for the season. You've got new faces, whether it's freshmen, whether it's transfers. You've got returning players that know your system. What is this part of the process like for you in building up for the season?
Well, you have to remember, I don't view it through the eyes of a fan. I know too much. I'm there every day. I know our strengths. I know our weaknesses. I know the work we have to put in. We have 9 new players. And the first thing I will tell everybody, you included, Jordy, because you're part of the media and the fans, we are not the same team we were last year. What a year that was. Yep. I'm forever indebted to those seniors, but they're gone. I don't have them anymore. I have basically one starter back in Alexis Morris. Had a great recruiting class of freshmen. Have a great class of transfers, but they're all over the place right now. So I'm trying to break them down to build them back up so that they're all on the same page. So our motto for the year is piece it together with a number 2, since it's our second year as a staff here.
Oh, nice.
And it's going to happen. We're talented. We have more depth. We just have got to get on the same page, and it's going to not look so pretty probably starting out, but we'll get there. When is the great question. I don't know when that will be.
You have landed number 1 players in the country before. You have coached number 1 players that have come in. You have made players number 1 overall draft picks. When you have somebody come in with the cachet and ability like a player in Flau'jae Johnson, what has that been like in coaching her and getting her ready for college basketball?
Well, let me say this. I don't bring those players in. Now, people may believe otherwise, Kim, your reputation, what you've done. Okay, I hear you. But my assistants do all the work. I just come in and close deals. Is it easier when you have a head coach that's got a little background? Certainly it is. But let me give all the compliments to my coaching staff that has been with me. They've been with me forever. And then the new ones. And they've just, come on board and act like we've known each other forever. So thank you to my coaching staff. Now, ironically, you would ask about Flau'jae. I don't know. It might have been 6 a.m. this morning. I got a text from her. And this is Flau'jae Johnson, the rapper, the one that is so talented, the first McDonald's All-American that this staff brought to LSU. And all she's saying in her text this morning is, Coach, thank you for letting me be a part of what's going on here. Thank you for continuing to believe in me. Coach, God put us together for a reason, and now I see why you love defense, and I'm starting to love it too.
Wow. Wow. Coach, what happens if a player of her caliber doesn't love defense? How do you get them to buy in?
Well, time. And I contribute a lot of Flau'jae's maturity to doing things like that. She's not doing it to brown nose a coach. Sure. She's talented enough. She knows she's going to be on the floor. Flau'jae's biggest problem is she's such a perfectionist. Yeah. And when things don't go her way, or she makes a bad pass, or she misses a shot, you can just see her face just become so disappointed in herself. And so, as I told her this morning, I'm going to use a term that we like to use in Louisiana a lot. Baby, you have to have a poker face. Mm-hmm. And I said, if you don't know what that means, go ask somebody around town. I said, you can't ever show your expressions unless it is excitement. You just won a game, or, we're celebrating. I said, but when you mess up, this game's too fast. We got to move on to the next play. But you see, that kid is different than most kids in college. While she is blessed to have a full scholarship, when her day is done in basketball, guys, she goes back to her room and has to start writing rap songs. Mm-hmm. And her dorm room, it's crazy. You walk in there and you got the studio set up and you got places, and she wakes up at early times of the morning. So much respect to that kid and what she's trying to do, both be a great basketball player and a nationally known rapper.
We had a conversation with Coach Starkey last week while you were at Media Day, and we were talking to him about, just his impressions of being back at LSU and working for you and on the job. You've got Daphne Mitchell in as a first-year assistant as well. I know Coach Reedus is out there doing great work, and you've reshuffled some people around on your staff like Jennifer Roberts, and I know Joe Schwartz is in there as well. Can you talk a little bit about your staff and some of the responsibility that they have in working in such a regimented program like you run?
Well, I've had a lot of them with me a long time. I'll start with Johnny Derrick and Jennifer Roberts. My gosh, I've been coaching at Baylor, 21 years. This is my second year at LSU. Johnny Derrick has seen every game I've ever coached as a head coach and been a part of it.
Wow.
Jennifer Roberts has seen all but a few years, and they've been with me the longest. And then, the other young ladies, Kaylin Rice, she grew up in my program at Baylor as a manager. Jordan Westbrook. Daphne was the recruiting coordinator at Murray State, played at Georgia Tech. They've been with me, almost 10 years. Joe Swartz is new to my program here at LSU. Watched him grow up and walk on at Texas for Rick Barnes and Shaka Smart. And then you add Bob Starkey. Well, don't let me forget Shantae. Shantae is now back on my staff. She was the very first graduate, Shantae Crutchfield, very first graduate assistant I ever had at Baylor. And then, of course, Bob and Gary Reedus. What that tells you, one, I must be paying them good, right? Because they all want to stay. And two, I must not be this horrible person that people make me out to be. I take care of my people. And I hope that they learn from me. There are several on staff that would love to be head coaches someday, and there are several that don't. Bob Starkey is a classic example. He's always wanted to be an assistant. And that man could be a head coach anywhere he wants to be, but he chooses to be an assistant. Then you have others like Satia Messer, who moved on last year, and other former assistants that I've had. So it's a great mixture, very loyal staff. But I hope that when I put that whistle down for the last time, that they are able to take the good from me, just as I took the good from Leon Barmore, my mentor, and have very successful careers when I'm done.
Polish her crown. The Queen is speaking here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Last one on the way out. You can't speak specifically about players. I know that. But you are your headline news right now in women's college basketball. The offseason that you have had here in year one, over-exceeded your expectation or just about where you thought?
That is an easy question. Over-exceeded. How in the world would you, me, or anybody ever think that team last year would have been 26-6, second in the SEC, lose the second leading scorer, go to Tennessee fighting for second place, win there, win a game, and host a game in the NCAA tournament? There's no way that I could have put those types of expectations on a team. That's what makes this game so great. Now, I'm going to say it again. We have a long way to go with this team this year. And anybody thinks, oh, well, we went 26-6 last year, we ought to finish the same. Oh, we'll have expectations. We get that. We'll probably be picked anywhere from third or fourth in the league. You already see that we're ranked in the top 20. That means nothing to me personally as a coach, but for our program, for this state, for this university, it's big because it brings relevancy. It brings recognition. You mentioned something earlier about seeing things on TV. You can't put a dollar value, Jordy, on positive things that are put on TV that have those three letters, LSU. And it's a joy to watch, and we want to do our part. And as I said when I came here at the press conference, all I want to be is a positive. Can't promise championships. That's what you play for. But if we're a positive, then we're doing our job.
We will see you in the PMAC tomorrow night. Keep up the great work. Thank you as always.
Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am. There she is, the Queen, Kim Mulkey, after a huge day in recruiting yesterday and getting ready for her second season to start tomorrow night with an exhibition game. As they will tip that off inside of the Maravich Center at 7 p.m. versus Mississippi College. They'll have another one next Thursday night versus Langston, and then officially their season will begin on Monday, November 7th. The ticket plans for LSU women's basketball are, it feels illegal what they're giving them for you, them to you for. I mean, like, you can buy season tickets for like $25, $50, and you get that enthusiasm. And I'm telling you, you know this. I don't have to tell you this, but the roster is going to be, deep tournament competitive, and what they're doing in recruiting only is building it for years and years to come. So now would be a great time to invest into LSU women's basketball. If you're looking for tickets, they got great ticket plans available over at lsutix.net. Kim Mulkey is the absolute GOAT. She is the best, and it is great to hear from her on this Wednesday morning. Hit that like button, share button, comment button, and remember, RMB Builders brings you back all of our sound here on the Jordy Culotta Show. So if you want to isolate that Kim Mulkey interview, which we will do later this afternoon, and just go listen to that, that's compliments of RMB Builders. Get in touch with Rhett and his crew. They can help you out with anything that you need from a contracting standpoint, whether it is a new build, a rebuild, reconstruction, or you want to build your dream home. RMB Builders can help you out on that. Check out their Instagram. Their Instagram's on fire. rmb-builders.com. rmb-builders.com. We'll be back answering your questions here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Yeah, I had a couple of calls during the Kim Mulkey interview. Sorry we couldn't get to you fellas. We were a little busy.
Ah, yeah. Let's do that.
Looking to book a dumpster but no idea how? We've made it quick and easy for you. Check out our website at moralesrolloffs.com. Let Morales Roll-Offs know your desired delivery date, and finally, provide your contact details. To make payment, look out for an email invoice with all your booking details. On delivery day, our driver will notify you through text and email that your dumpster is ready and on the way. Now you know how easy and convenient it is. Call Morales Roll-Offs at 225-427-0000 for your dumpster.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Don't let the name fool you. Men's Total Health has offerings for the ladies, too. Guys, is your wife or partner suffering from urinary incontinence, low sexual desire, or pain during sex? Then the O-Shot might be for her. Don't let it scare you. It's totally natural. It's PRP. And Mike Roach and the crew at Men's Total Health will make you as comfortable as you can be. Contact me for more information, Katie at jordyculotta.show.com, and I'm happy to tell you everything that Men's Total Health has to offer for the ladies.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance and you need to get over and see our friends over at GoFlow IV? They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
We're sitting in the dugout.
So funny you say that.
And Pelfrey is not pitching today, but he had he's in full uni, he's turfs, and he's standing up on the
First step.
fence, whatever, just like this, watching the game. And we start talking about, pissing your pants, something whatever. He was like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. No, you won't. Yeah, how much money do you give me? So we gathered up however many people were in there. I think it ended up being $2,000 total.
I pissed my pants for $2,000.
And
100%.
So he goes in there, and he's watching the game, and he just starts pissing in his pants. Gray pants.
Yeah.
So you see it going down his pants, long pants going into his turfs. And he's just going into his turfs. He takes his turfs out and dumps out the pee outside on the warning track, on the dugout. And he just puts them back on, and he finishes the inning. He waits till the inning is over with to leave. And so he's watching the whole inning with piss in his pants. And everybody is dying laughing. Manager's laughing. Everybody's laughing. He gets up out of it and walks to the dugout, pee all in his pants, in the gray pants. It was awesome.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge, making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere, middle linebacker, outside rusher, maybe sometimes he's going to be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. We link up with our next guest, Brody Miller from The Athletic. Remember, you can follow him at Brody A. Miller to keep up with what's coming out over with Brody covering the LSU football program. Also, subscribe to The Athletic to keep up with his write-ups, including one that is wrapping up here, the impact that Harold Perkins had on the game last week, and including Jaden Daniels and how he is improving. Jaden. Brody, good morning. How are you?
Would be at The Athletic.
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Be a hell of a get. Doing good, buddy. Bye week, LSU is in first place in the West. I tell you that 6 weeks ago. What's your reaction?
Yeah, utter shock. In so many ways, right? Just because 6 weeks ago, I was a believer that this was one of those dominant all-time Alabama teams mixed with, no way did I think LSU was. I think, I was always kind of like LSU's going to be going to be steady and fine, but I never thought they'd be 6-2 with a top 10 win and just kind of looking, not even just that they're winning, they look like they kind of figured out who they are and they have an identity and they look fluid now. Yeah, it's shocking, and I think that's the thing. It's like, I don't think any of us think this is some incredible team yet already that's going to compete for titles, but it's an incredible coaching job that they're just at where they are right now, and they're getting better each week.
Speaking of coaching and recruiting, LSU hit the trail running, as Brian Kelly told you last night. They have already gotten a commitment this morning from a 4-star linebacker, Christian Brathwaite, out of Cypress, Texas. He is a former Baylor commitment that has changed his mind and committed to LSU here about 30 minutes ago. So already starting this bye week off with a boom in recruiting. Brian Kelly and his staff up to this point, Brody, in covering them, what has been your biggest takeaway? Whether that has been the impressions. What are the impressions that they have made on you?
Yeah, I think, and I wrote this a little bit from the game Saturday night. It's like, we've all talked so much about process, right? And I've written at length about it, and it became a little eye roll worthy of like process. It's it's process. You gotta trust it. Blah blah blah. And I just think I think where you're at right now, the big takeaway has to be like that's proving to be kind of real, and that's something, that this isn't a great football team that they were handed, and they may have put themselves in a position where you look at who they were week 1 and who they are now, it's a different football team. And that's what you're looking for this year, right? Nobody expected them to go win the SEC West, which, hey, man, they might. But no one expected them to achieve massive things this year. You just wanted them to look like they were in the right direction. You wanted to see that, like, this is a staff and a program that can do things once the team is better, all that stuff. And I think that's what stands out is, like, Joe Sloan, Brian Kelly, and Mike Denbrock, Jane Daniels went from looking like a limitation one week to, and again, small sample size, but looking like a star the last 2 weeks. That's coaching. That's development. That's process, right? Or the way the defense so often has an issue one week or even an issue one quarter, and then it gets fixed, and then it looks like a strength in the third and fourth quarter the next week. That's coaching, So I think that's where I'm at right now is like it sounds so obvious, right? But you have a staff that's actually making this team get better each week. That has not always been the case.
The improvement of Jaden Daniels over the last 2 weeks in consistent play, what do you credit it to?
It's tough to say like who I credit because it's like I think it's probably a little bit of everyone, right? I think Joe Sloan's been really important, but I also think Brian and Jane Daniels has also been very important. But Brian Kelly is tough on quarterbacks. That is something that my colleagues, Pete Sampson and Matt Fortuna, have written about at length. And like, they're very hard. He is very intense with quarterbacks and very demanding. And here's what he wants. And obviously Joe Sloan's doing a ton of that. Mike Denbrock's doing a ton of that. But Brian Kelly is very good at, I think you look at his Notre Dame history. I don't know if he always had the best recruits at quarterback there. And, he never really developed those first-round guys. But I think, reading a lot about it, he did get the most out of them. And I think even the quarterbacks who hated him would say that. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing right now. And then you saw in Saturday's post-game comments, Jane Daniels say, like, yeah, he coaches me every single day during the week. And, like, that's different. And it's been tough at times. But that's why he kind of credits. That's part of why he's where he is right now.
The running back position on this team, Josh Williams has really stepped forward and taken the most and made the most of his opportunity. What do you make of where they are at that position right now? And Armani Goodwin being back, does it look like these two are really going to be the two guys down the stretch?
I think so in terms of that's who they trust, and unfortunately, I'm still not exactly sure what John Emery's situation was last week and why he didn't, see the field more because you don't want to rule him out. I mean, I don't know everything involved there, but he was, he is a guy who can make people miss. Like those two probably can't, so he does have a special ability you don't want to lose. But yeah, no, I think those are a really good dynamic of Armani Goodwin is your big play guy, your guy who's going to, you don't want him getting leverage. He's going to make that big play. But Josh Williams is a starting SEC running back, and that is no longer just like a cute little thing. That is the reality. I mean, he knows how to play the position. He's probably the smartest, probably the guy you trust most in protection, all that stuff. But he is more than that, right? He's a guy who is breaking tackles, is making key runs. And even though he's not huge, he's the guy in short yardage that always converts. It's like every single time they need a first down, he's the one who finds it. So, yeah, I think they're in a really good situation in that room where, again, they lost some bodies there, but they're in really good shape, not just now, but for the future, because no one's going anywhere as far as I know.
How big of a story is it for this offensive line to be going into a consecutive game with the same combination?
Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier, but we're talking about like all the things that keep progressing. I mean, it's wild where they're at because in two ways, right? One, just they're a better football team right now because of the way that they have figured something out with these two true freshman tackles and Will Campbell and Emory Jones. That changed everything, quite frankly. Like even with Dellinger out, who might be their second best lineman, like he's really good, but having those tackles, even when it's just Bradford and Frazier at guard, it still just looks really good lately. And one that helps the team so much right now. You're seeing how much that opens up the run game. It opens up Jaden Daniels to do everything he does, but also just the future. I mean, obviously, but it's just like the idea that wait, this was supposed to be like the thing that was going to take forever to figure out, this O line, and it's not there yet. They don't have the bodies they want. They don't have as many guys they like as they wish. But the idea that it's like, oh wait, you have the two tent poles that by default, when you have Will Campbell and Emory Jones out there, what, you're a C plus, right? Like by default, right there, And I think that's huge for where they are. Is that the next 3 years you have a good offensive line. You should at least. And yeah, man, they just look good. I mean, they bullied Ole Miss, and that's an Ole Miss front that, don't forget, bullied Kentucky. So it's not nothing. And next week I should say, will be huge for that because Alabama is going to be better up front. They do have better bodies. I don't know if LSU will win that battle up front, but I don't think it's an obvious loss anymore. No way.
Have you been able to track down the size of the challenge? It seems like they are going through to find and put B.J. Ojulari and Harold Perkins on the field together. I mean, is this something that will be worked out before Alabama in the last month of the season, in your opinion?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think so. I think a few things, right? It's one, I think most of the teams going forward, matchup-wise, they will just be able to be on the field anyway. Like, it's kind of more like the Florida matchup where, like, they should be able to be on the field quite a bit together, no problem. Because, I mean, I don't think any of the teams they have left are really going to be like Tennessee and Ole Miss, just full throttle spreading you out. Two, I think, they realize, like, you just need Harold Perkins on the field, and I think they're going to adjust accordingly. And, I had some, because as you know, the problem, right? Like, you can't, you needed to have more DBs on the field. And then some people would point out to me, like, well, why didn't they do, like, 2 D line fronts and go with them as the 2 outside linebackers? And by the way, they can. Probably wouldn't have made sense against Ole Miss, right? Like, that's running the ball is what they do. Like, I don't know if you wanted to lose a D line body. But going forward, I think you can mess around with that. I don't know if they will, but I think you can. And I do think, you can do 3-man fronts with both those guys on the field. And the thing that Perkins gives you is it's not like you're playing a 5-man front with Perkins. He's a DB and a linebacker and all these things. So you're just not losing any versatility having both of them on the field. So I think you'll see it most of the time. I don't think it'll be a problem, but it's more about, I guess it won't matter because the year's almost over, but like next year, like figuring out exactly how to make it so this isn't always a problem.
Give me a 10-day out read on the 2022 edition of LSU Bama.
Ooh, I think it's at least a ball game, I think Bama's the better team because Bryce Young is that good. I mean, he is that good. And I think this obviously this Alabama defensive line, that pass rush, they're going to make it harder for LSU than they're always used to at times, even with this O-line playing well. But in a lot of ways, LSU, I'm not going to say matches up in terms of they should win, but matches up, this is a ball game because, hey, what's LSU's thing you kind of worry about? Getting beat over the top with the corners. Alabama doesn't take the top off teams this year. They don't have those receivers that beat you deep, and that's been an issue for them this year. So that's key. And you can win that battle on the line of scrimmage with how good LSU's D-line and front have been playing at times. So, like, you can be in this. And on the other side of the ball, it's like, if Jaden Daniels is this version of himself, and no, I don't expect him to be the 11 touchdowns the last 2 week version, but now that he's kind of clicked, this is a team that can score, in the high 20s. They can get what they at least need to make this a ball game. So, I'm favoring Bama, of course, by 7-10 points. But this is not the blowout we've expected for much of the last few years. This should be a football game, and that's a victory, right?
No, without question. All right, Brody, thank you again, man, as always. We will link up next Wednesday during game week. Enjoy the bye weekend. I know that these...
I will, man. Thanks for having me as always. Take care.
Later, buddy. There's Brody Miller checking in from The Athletic on this Wednesday morning. Daily, we're brought to you by Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Online, Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, or not online. No website. You got to give them a call to get in touch with them. There's only one way that you can get in touch with our friends over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, and that's by calling Jude Barker and the crew directly to their line at 225-776-2431, 225-776-2431. Mention the show and save 15% over at Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works. Number one in a number two business. They can help you out both commercially and residential. Get in touch with Barker Brothers. Barker Brothers Plumbing and Works, 225-776-2431. Mention the show and save 15%. Your calls and voicemails before we get out of here at 9 a.m. next.
Do you suffer from chronic dehydration? Are you looking to improve your athletic performance? Our friends over at GoFlow IV. They're located on Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUXFlowIV.com. Make sure and use the promo code Jordy Culotta Show. If you do, they'll take 15% off of your initial visit. Check them out online, GEAUXFlowIV.com.
I was excited to come to a top level program. I've been at a lot of great places, been very fortunate in my career, but to really say that you have an opportunity every year, once we get it rolling, to win a national championship, there's not very many places that you can say that. So for him to offer me the opportunity to come with him to LSU was nothing but humility and gratitude. Some Sunday players in that room. But again, it's got to be the total package, the total process of buy-in, of understanding what we're trying to get done, of figuring out how we want it to get done, but also allowing those guys to be able to play with instincts. For example, I think Jay Ward is long and athletic. He's very versatile. He's played corner, played nickel, played safety. Very excited about Joe Fouché, one of the transfer guys that we came in because he has a dimension of physicality. Major Burns, fortunate enough that he was able to come back home. Again, he's long, he's athletic, so he gives you flexibility between both field and boundary safeties. And then you've got some guys that you can throw in like Brooks, Sage, Derek Davis. Todd Harris is a guy that's been around for a while. So I think that we have enough in that room to be successful. But again, you still want to continue to grow and be able to push each point.
Yeah, well, I think it starts here, and we have a good bit of people on this particular staff who are from Louisiana, who know and believe in our hearts that this place produces the best football players in the country, and I think the numbers speak for themselves. Per capita, produce the most NFL players, you know what I mean? So even from an analytical standpoint, it makes sense to take the kids from here because the chances of them playing in the league are higher than if they come from anywhere else. I think our brand is super powerful, so we will have to recruit at a national level, or there's really no reason that we shouldn't, you know what I mean? Because if we can get a top player from another state who can help us win a championship, then of course, right? But I think it starts right here in Louisiana and then right here in Baton Rouge. There's some really good players who are still available that are right here in Baton.
There is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy's goddamn hands.
But they have been asking for their mail on a daily basis. It's all they're talking about up there.
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you gotta get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and it's Publishers Clearinghouse. All right.
I can't believe I'm gonna be a mailman.
Jesus.
Yeah. I know what you meant. Yeah, I'm always laughing at it.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Taking your voicemails, your phone calls, and your mailbag questions on the way out here on this Wednesday morning. What we got over there, Lloyd?
Let's see if we got some people kind of do their homework and call in ahead of time, and we had that happen today. All right, we still have that one from Vail, Colorado. Remember, they called and hung up on Wednesday.
Didn't you call him back?
I did, and they left a voicemail, but I don't know when it's going to be back. We'll go to Monday of this week, just so everything remains current.
Okay.
And we have maybe Andrew.
Maybe.
Hey, this is Andrew. Have you ever thought about selling your house before? Let me know at 678-256.
No, it's not.
Delete.
I was like, wait, who's selling their house? Who wants to buy your house?
What a great idea to take it up for free ad, dude.
Oh my gosh,
Hustle.
that's amazing.
Way to hustle.
In Vail?
That's amazing.
No, it's a 470 area code. I don't know. You've been getting a lot of these on this phone. there's a lot of like text about you selling your house, selling
Like,
around.
to Jordy
I don't know
specifically?
who they think this phone belongs to. Like, I don't know.
That's weird.
It's like a bunch of trash. All right, get a call right now.
Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where you calling from?
We don't want to buy your house.
This is Stewie.
Oh,
Stewie, what are you doing?
You working?
Are you in
How
trouble?
are you?
Nothing much. I'm working right now.
Are you hungover?
this is work.
Are you
Yeah,
in
it's
trouble?
work. Hey team, I'm on the way.
Are you hungover after Jamil's birthday party?
Yes,
I
it was
figured.
great.
I figured. It
Happy
looked
birthday
fun.
again, Jamil.
Happy birthday. I feel like we'll be saying it all week.
It has been celebrated all week.
See y'all in a few. Play Hal
No
Perkins.
question.
Fire Brian Polian.
Just got to recruit.
That's hilarious.
Hey.
Oh.
Okay.
I'll talk to you later, Stewie. All right.
so funny.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hey, this is Bill Belichick. Been watching this Caskey's clicker thing, and really think that guy needs to get paid a lot of money. Okay, on to Cincinnati.
Is there a chance that's Caskey calling about Caskey?
That sounded like
100% is Caskey.
That's Caskey calling to
100%.
get himself a job.
Was it not
not
his
for
number?
self-promotion, people. This is to ask football questions and life advice.
This is amazing so far. Who's next?
Well, top of the morning to all
Jeff.
of you out there in Jordy Culotta land. This is Jeff and Kenner. Just calling with a comment. We are looking back at this, and what we have to all realize is that we were prisoners of the moment early in the season, not fully understanding the scope of this rebuild. And I've talked about this, y'all have talked about this, and a lot of us realize this was a complete, absolute rebuild. And now we're seeing the fruits of that. And the question is, why is J.D. Daniels so comfortable now? Why is the O-line playing better? And the answer is not really simple, but it is that all of this is just now they're coming to understand the system, the play calling, the coaches, and it's all starting to fit together. And I think we're seeing something special being developed, and I know. And last but not least, we cannot sleep on the Pelicans, guys. If you're not watching this team, this is a deep, talented, and dangerous team, and they're going to make a lot of noise this coming NBA season. Y'all have a great day. Go Tigers.
Jeff and Kenner, appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff. Always.
Yeah, look, I think that's true. I mean, I think that that it needed time. You needed some time to get this thing implemented and for people to catch on. And when it takes people moments to grow up or to find their footing. Sometimes that's difficult in college football because it's in front of 100,000 people in the stadium and hundreds of thousands of people watching around the country. So
plus a brand new coaching staff.
Yeah, I just think that LSU had a lot of new. Just a lot of new that they had, and still new. And not to say that there's still some things that they'll have to work out. As Kelly said yesterday, they still have a lot of work to do as far as the process goes. But the early signs and the early, leads on where they are now, to me, are very encouraging. And for what you thought and where you thought they would be up to this point, I think that they're ahead of schedule. In my opinion. I mean, the fact I know that the first place in the West thing is probably, kind of looking too deep into it. But I mean, the fact that here we are in the 8th playing week of the college football season, and LSU is first in the West. That's something that I didn't even think about. I didn't even ponder whether or not LSU would have an opportunity to grab a share of the SEC Western Division lead going into the Alabama game. It is really, very encouraging just to see where they are.
We got one more coming up here, and it is from Hattiesburg.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's Caleb from Hattiesburg. Shout out, Katie.
Hey.
I got 2 questions.
Old stomping grounds.
Katie, I must know. Me and my girlfriend debate this all the time. What school did you go to in Hattiesburg? I think you're an Oak Grove Warrior.
OGHS for
I'm
life.
I'm not going to judge you because I'm a Hattiesburg Tiger, but I think you're an Oak Grove Warrior. Second question. Coming to the game next week in Death Valley. Where should I go to eat before the game? Love the show. Listen to you guys every morning. Go Tigers.
Let's go.
Oh, that's awesome. I
Appreciate
did
that.
go to Oak Grove, but I hung out at Hattiesburg High a lot. I had friends there, so I kind of split my weekends up. I did.
You're the private school chick.
Yeah.
There were no private schools in Hattiesburg when I was there.
Yeah,
so
Oak
it
Grove
was
sounds very private
Well,
school.
I mean, like if there was one, it would be that one. It was kind of out of the city.
Did y'all wear
limits type
uniforms?
Situation. No.
Okay.
No one wore uniforms. It was a fashion show every day. I lived for that.
I still wore my schoolgirl outfit.
No, I mean I was best dressed.
No doubt.
Really?
I really was.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Cordell.
Yeah, it was fun.
Cordell, good morning.
Answer a second question.
I'll get back to it. We got to,
we'll
the
get
live
back to it.
calls take precedent over here.
Good morning.
What's up, gang?
Cordell.
What's happening?
What's up, gang?
Happy birthday
Hey,
time, isn't it soon?
Scorpio season.
Scorpio season, baby.
This for my guy Hunter Hall. Fuck Bama. Go Tigers.
Somebody had to say it. Two up in the chat, Cordell.
That's all I wanted to say.
Oh, nice, bro. Great call.
That's awesome.
Appreciate you.
I love Hunter Hall though.
I do too.
He's great. And Cordell.
What was the question?
Where
To
to
go
eat before game day?
Before the game?
Chimes near campus or
Yes, yeah.
City Slice, the pizza place is right there.
I mean, just
like,
right
coming
there in the
into
Chimes
campus.
area.
Mhm.
But I mean, the game's at 6 o'clock. You got an opportunity to go get something for lunch and then go out there.
Do people? Is that like Is that like a tailgate experience? Be like, oh, where should I go eat in Baton Rouge for like the day of the game?
But I mean, if you're calling
Yeah,
and
if you're not from
asking
here.
where you should go eat the day of the game, I really would park and go tailgate.
Yeah, that's what,
I know,
that's
but if
what I
you
was
don't
getting
know
at.
people tailgating and
But
you're
that's the
actually
best
hungry,
part of it. Is when
Well,
you
yeah,
just
but-
kind of walk around tailgates. To me, that's the LSU football experience. I mean, if you're asking for somewhere to go eat on a Friday night before the game, then I mean, like, I would go to like if you're looking for like fine dining, I would go to like I'd go to like Ruth Chris or like to Gino's or to where's some other fine
Rufino's
Jubin's.
always packed
Yeah,
before game
Rufino's
day.
like kind of the night
Game day
before the
night.
game
I know,
has
I
good
don't love it,
vibes.
but
If you're looking for
good
like kind
atmosphere.
of
DeJulio Brothers is more of like
Yeah.
a
yeah,
party.
kind of more laid back. DeJulio
Yeah, the
Brothers is a
Merchant
great
is
spot.
fun.
Merchant,
That whole little area. You
that
can
whole
just kinda
area is
cruise
buzzing.
around.
I mean, Superior
Chow
Grill
Yum
on
Fat.
Highland Road
Yeah.
is Friday nights before the game is probably popping. I'm sure, especially before the Bama game. I mean, there's a lot of places that will be putting off great vibes next Friday and Saturday that you should be. But if you're looking for a place to go eat the day of the game, man, depending on what time you want to go out there, I would go park and walk, because as far as the tailgating scene goes, I was talking to Matt McMahon about this yesterday. McMahon, LSU
McMahon.
Basketball coach, was here yesterday in studio, and I was talking to him on what's today? Wednesday? I was talking to him on Monday to set up the interview for Tuesday morning, and we had just kind of gotten talking about just kind of catching up on what's been going on, and he said, man, what should I expect next weekend? And I was like, Coach, outside of really like if the Tennessee game would have been at night, you would have felt it. I said, you weren't here like for like St. Patrick's Day in the city, but as far as like people coming together and creating an environment, a scene that is just surreal to people that have never seen it, you're going to have your mind blown. I mean, think Scott Van Pelt when 2012, when he saw the LSU Bama game for the first time. And I've told this story, but lucky enough, I mean, I had a chance to be standing on the field and right next to the gate where Rosillo and SVP walked out of, and he saw the experience for the first time. Like they opened up the gates next to the student section, and they all, like kind of visitors were walking in. I was standing on the field right when they walked in. I had known Ryan Rosillo from some of the ESPN College game day work we had done when they had come into town, and he and I just kind of handshook. What's up, man? Good to see you. And SVP standing 2 feet from us, and he's 360 degree, just like staring at the place. And it's like, oh my God.
So you got to see him see it.
I
for the
saw
first
him
time.
see it. And so when he described it, I kind of knew how he felt because he was sitting there telling his group, it was like Rosillo and 3 people, like, this is the best sporting experience I've ever seen in my life. He was like, this is the best I've ever seen. He was like, I know it's dangerous in our business to say best ever and all that stuff, but I mean, it was like, this is the ultimate. I've never seen anything like this. I've never felt anything like this. This is a different feeling than I've ever had. And then he went on to describe it, which, LSU still uses, and you can easily find SVP's experience at LSU. And I think that's what next week is trending to be like. If you have never seen it and if you have never been a part of it, it's going to blow your mind. You know what I mean? Like if it's 75 degrees and the weather was like it was last Saturday and the weekend was like it was last weekend and you have that buildup, I mean, it's already, they're in. I mean, the buildup is here. Bama and LSU are both tied for first place in the league. There is a storyline that is brewing and a momentum that is building into a night game in Tiger Stadium with all of that energy behind it. It's going to be it's going to be as good as you could get. I don't know if this is the type of atmosphere that you can't recreate. You can't you can't build a game around it. You can't call it the gold game. You can't encourage people to wear T-shirts. You can't tell people to get out there for some type of promotion. It doesn't matter. Next Thursday in Baton Rouge, between noon and 4 o'clock, you can start going to campus and you can start seeing the sights. You can start smelling the smells. You can start seeing the people starting to arrive. And come Friday, nobody in this town is working. I mean, we've all been a part of a big game weekend at LSU where everything adds up, right? Everything aligns. And this LSU-Bama game has got serious early alignment where come next week, this town is going to be buzzing. I mean, a week from today, Wednesday, you will start to feel the early onset of Saturday night. Come Thursday afternoon, it will be tilted towards the game. Friday is a full-on tilt, and come Saturday, you're in it. I mean, it is going to be as good of an atmosphere as college football can provide. I mean, everybody will be here from the standpoint that covers the game, that, watches the game, that knows big games when they see it on paper. This is as big as the sport can provide you as far as the atmosphere, environment. And I still think that players on the field, I mean, remember why this game was so popular. This game became so popular because all of the guys that were playing on the field were turning out to be first-round picks. There were always so many pros on the field. And while LSU's roster was, more or less rebuilt in the offseason, they still got dudes. They still got pros. They still got guys that NFL scouts are curious about. And it's going to be high-end football. I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. I think the environment is going to be fantastic. I hope so. The build-up is here.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. Like, even if LSU, they get blowed out, that doesn't take away from what's going to happen leading up to the game,
right.
Which is half of the fun if you're an LSU fan.
Yes.
Being able to tailgate, being able to do all the things that you just listed out, like the feeling of knowing that game's at night in Tiger Stadium and you have something to play for is unrivaled, and there's nothing you can do to fuck it up from here on out because LSU's not playing and Alabama's not playing. This thing's set in stone to kick off at 6 p.m. and it is going to be, I'd imagine, like national talk will start to creep up as soon as after this week, right?
Oh yeah,
it's going to get the big.
Oh yeah,
big
and look, Tennessee Georgia is going to be playing too. So I mean, there'll be big football everywhere.
God,
but
what a weekend!
LSU Bama will be great. All right, I got to get out of here. Hit that like button, share button, comment button, and we'll be back with you tomorrow morning, 7 to 9 a.m. Mikey Matuk's got Jay Johnson coming in tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Makai Wingo and Allie Gay will be on the show as well. Jordy Culotta Show. Hit that like, share, comment button. Daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet.